As if the elections weren't a sign enough, Donald Trump and the Republicans should be really worried about what people are thinking about the economy right now and about Donald Trump's stewardship of it. Here are some recent polls.
Well, the reason Donald Trump was elected was to fix the problem of inflation. Right back in October of 2024, who was more trust in inflation? It was Donald Trump by 9 points over Kamala Harris. But look at where we are today. Donald Trump is underwater with the Titanic when it comes to inflation. His net approval rating is 26 points underwater. My goodness gracious. More responsible for the current economy, Trump or Biden? We're talking 54%. The clear majority of voters say Donald Trump's more responsible for the current economy than just 21% who say Joe Biden. I will note, I've seen this in poll after poll after poll. Trump attention to lowering costs, not enough. We're talking about 3 in 4 Americans, 75% overall, who say Trump's not paying enough attention to lowering costs. And even among Republicans, that solid Republican base who oftentimes approves of Trump's job by 85, 90%, 57% of them say that Trump's not paying enough attention to lowering costs. They should be scared. SH blank, blank, blank list.
Think I know what he's talking about there at the end. But anyway, yeah, no, those are not good numbers for the Republicans. I mean, some of it shows a little bit of copium that only 57% of Republicans think Trump isn't focusing enough on prices. How could you possibly think that he's focusing on prices? I mean, come on. I mean, I guess, he's focused on tariffs. That's raising prices. That's kind of a form of focusing on prices, just not in the right direction. But yeah, no, he's underwater with the Titanic. Great googly moogly, great Caesar's ghost. I wanna like add like a filter to Chrome that takes videos of news people and Harry Enten-fies them. It just adds some weird expressions, some weird voices, hand motions and everything. It's a very strange experience getting your news from Harry Enten. But anyway, that is positive news because it shows that people are paying attention. It shows that people, they voted for improvement of their economic situation. They're not seeing it a year in, and it is not unreasonable of them to be frustrated about that. And the fact that only 21% blame Biden ain't president. And he hasn't been president for quite a while. And so if things are getting worse, it makes sense to blame Donald Trump. That 21%, I imagine, is like the most hardcore of the MAGA. They'll still be blaming Biden for the economy in 8 years or whatever. But I think that's a little bit of good news. We have some other stuff we can get to, Yaz, but I wanted to give you a chance to jump into the polls.
Yeah, the polling is interesting. I know you love a good poll. I'm a little bit less trusting of them generally, but these polls do seem reflective of what we saw happen on election night, right? The American people are seeing what is happening with our country in general, let's say, between the shutdown and the tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. There's so many et ceteras that I can't possibly name them all. But with everything going on, the American people seem to very much blame the Republican Party for everything that is happening. As much as the Republican administration loves to say, oh, this is Bidenomics, this is Joe Biden, he did all this. It's obvious to the American people, as we can see, that despite all of that branding, all of that propaganda, all of that PR spin, whatever you want to call it, the American people are saying, fine, you can blame Joe Biden all you want, but the prices have gone up because of these Trump tariffs, because Donald Trump tariffed the entire planet. And so now all of our prices have gone up. Also, one last thing I want to mention real quick. Republicans love to talk about entrepreneurs and small businesses whenever they talk about these tariffs benefiting businesses. But what they're really talking about is corporations, right? Corporations benefit from the tariffs if anybody does. Small businesses are suffering because of this. Getting into business as an entrepreneur is there's an incredibly high barrier to entry. It costs an incredible amount of money, and it's more expensive to run a small business than it is to run a giant corporation because you have economies of scale, et cetera, et cetera. So they love to just throw in entrepreneurs and small businesses whenever they're talking about the tariffs, but that is so disingenuous because these tariffs, some small businesses have had to shutter because of the tariffs. So earlier in the story, we were talking about perhaps the government would have to pay back all of these tariffs, and that does get complicated because would the money get paid back to the businesses that had to raise their prices to accommodate for the tariffs, or would they go back to the actual American people who are the ones who paid the higher prices, therefore paid the tariffs? All of it is very complicated. And even if small businesses did get a windfall of cash, I would even feel better about that, even if the American people themselves weren't getting the payment. But the truth is, some of those businesses have already gone under because of these things. So the damage is irreparable. Hopefully, we can get some kind of justice at the end of all of this, but we will just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think the polling is bad. And it's not, this is not just happenstance, it's not a random thing. This is Donald Trump's decisions that are leading to this. And Donald Trump is not a guy that can, he's not very good at seeing that it's not going well and changing course. But more importantly, he's not a guy that can showcase empathy. It just doesn't work for him. He can't take responsibility. He can't even acknowledge that it's happening. And that makes it very hard to turn these polls around. It would be difficult even if he had that skill set, and he just doesn't.
I mean, John, we saw the picture of, a man passed out in the Oval Office and he just stood there like a crazy
that's the American
person.
economy.
Like the epitome of no empathy,
Exactly. Yeah, and that's why everyone says that's like the perfect image of his second term.